Hey family, just checking in on another segment of On the Couch, but I am in the bathroom on the counter. I'm just gonna, I like the lighting in here a lot better, so I just tend to been making my videos in the bathroom lately. There's a glare on my glasses, so I will remove those. But I hope everybody is doing well today. In the South is raining. I don't know about that East Coast or any other areas of the country, but stay dry because I know a lot of people out are out there at the polls, standing in line, cold, rainy, but out there to exercise their right to vote. So more power to the people. This video is inspired by some recent events today, actually this morning, starting early in the morning with some phone calls to ask me which polling place I'm voting at or have I voted yet, and people encouraging me to vote. And for the most part, I've tried not to, disclose why I'm not voting. But a couple years ago, I actually made one political video on my channel. And this is when I was of the mindset that in order to make or effect change in society, you must put the right people in place to affect that. And I was, under the belief that, I wasn't too sold on Obama, but I was under the belief that, for his very first State of the Union address, um, I was really inspired by his speech. I was inspired by, the points he made and some of the things that he was talking about, things that he would like to do, the situation with the gridlock Congress at the time for every policy or initiative that he put on the table. They blocked, vetoed or diluted it to nothing. That was then. I have since, but you know what? Even though that was then, um, I was still, like I said, more optimistic about the political system and how it functions to advance our rights and responsibilities. Now, not so much. Um, that probably would be the only video you will see from me advancing the cause of participating civically in our national government society. And I will go ahead and outline the reasons why I am not voting today. Very controversial for a lot of people. A lot of people are baffled, puzzled. They don't understand why I'm not voting. Um, I get the, oh, you're so intelligent, you're so smart, you're so this, you're so that. I can't believe that you're saying what you're saying. I can't believe you're of that mindset. Now, a lot of people need to give me the benefit of the doubt. There's a method to my madness. It's always a method to my madness. So, and believe me, this is not something I just happened overnight. This has been brewing for many years. And after networking with certain individuals, reading certain books, articles, and what have you, I was able to piece some things together. And even during that last video I made of the president's State of the Union address, the very first one he made, because I since removed that video from my channel because of the negativity that I received. Since that time, I've decided to just keep my mouth shut, online in terms of politics. But I felt compelled to make this video today because of all the issues that I have been getting from other folks about my decision not to vote. It's very deep. It's an onion. It has many layers, and it's kind of hard to pull back all the layers in one video. I can't summarize all of my points in this video because there's so much that I would love to, purge in terms of why I don't vote. But, just the basic overview, I'm not satisfied with either candidate. And after relearning, that's the better term, relearning how this political system actually works, I really don't feel like voting in a national election is going to push our issues on the table. We're actually moving towards being a third world nation. They are in the process, they meaning Congress, the powers that be, the 2%ers or the 1%ers, they are shrinking the middle class. They are decreasing, depressing wages. They've made it such that companies have had to downsize. We've experienced a whole economic downturn. We are in a Great Depression. Like I said, I don't call it a recession, it's a depression. The unemployment numbers are much higher than they want to report. Also, the reporting avenues, vehicles are not they don't take account of all the folks that should be counted in unemployment, such as those who've given up, those who are unemployed, those who just like the way they calculate the unemployment is not inclusive of all forms of unemployment or underemployment. So yeah, it's very deep for me. I believe that the powers that be have already controlled um, who gets to be president. We're just participating in this charade in order to feel as if we have a voice when we really don't. If you look at who is lobbying on Congress steps every day, you will see oil companies. You will see, well, yeah, just basically oil companies, because the auto industry is in the toilet. We don't have any other companies out there that's really pushing for economic stability for all Americans, no matter if you're middle class, upper middle class, poor. They're not looking after our interests at all. They are shrinking the middle class. We have an overabundance of college graduate, well-educated individuals who cannot find work in the fields that they study for. You have a situation where you have people who are underemployed. You have people who, with a high school diploma, are finding it extremely hard to find jobs, more so than maybe someone who has a college degree. I know that's debatable because some people say that they tend to have more work experience, so they are able to get jobs much quicker than college graduates. Depending on which side of the argument you lean towards, it both could be said. The point is it's just difficult for everybody, and if you're not in certain fields, you're not going to be able to, I guess, sustain yourself. The country is going through another shift. I was a huge history major, buff person. I just love history. So just like when the Industrial Revolution happened in the early 1920s, 1910, 20s, right? Soon after, it was a few years after the slaves were emancipated, they were able to go to try to get jobs in the city, working in factories, or even still sharecropping, because a lot of them, they still had to work as a sharecropper even after they were free, because that was the only skill they had. They weren't educated. So a lot of those factory jobs. Then the war, they were building ammunition, they were building planes, ammo, all this other stuff going on. That caused a surge in employment, but then it also caused a depression as well once the war actually hit. We're living in the same type of situation. During that time, the 1920s, the farming industry was suffering severely. They were losing um, their economic footing because everything was becoming more industrialized. I can say the same thing about America today. A lot of the jobs, office jobs, or typical I'm not say white collar jobs, working in corporate, whatever, what have you have to have a master's or bachelor's to work in. Those jobs are now being eviscerated and either shipped overseas, or it's becoming more automated. We're experiencing sort of like an industrial revolution where everything is more digital, everything is more computerized, everything is more automated. So they have made these jobs, they're no longer available because they have technology to replace people. Not too happy about that. I know many of y'all get tired of talking to a machine whenever you call, any type of company or service. You got to talk to a machine before you get to a real person, that sort of deal. You have a lot of that going on. You got a lot of, situation, areas that are saturated with, teachers, nurses, just saturated, just setting, criminal justice, just saturated. So, a lot of those issues. So with the job situation, with healthcare, because I was for the Obamacare when it was first drafted, that 1,000-page whatever that nobody read, only because of the public option. People forgot that the public option offered a safety net for those who did not or could not afford the insurance the way that the premiums were going. The way I see it, and healthcare insurance is on the verge of becoming more privatized. So what that would mean is, you're going to have to deal with parallel pricing. You may have to deal with them competing with each other, raising the rates, but also removing some services that probably was once covered before, but they can remove them because the competition is in their favor. um, that penalty, part of the bill that says that if a person does not have insurance, they will be penalized. They will have to pay a penalty fee. I was still stuck on how does that help poor people who either don't have adequate access to health care and is trying to get it, or just simply can't afford it. Because, like I said, with this, it gives private insurance companies the incentive to engage in predatory parallel pricing schemes, which would raise the price or the premium of health insurance coverage for everybody. There are people that say that there are built-in mechanisms in the bill that's supposed to put a cap on that, but I have not seen language of that. If it is in there, someone send me some information about that. But so far, I don't. It's just talk. Oh, they have these built-in protections. Where are they? What are they? You know what I mean? Because the built-in protection we needed was called the public option. That would have created a floor, base price for those who couldn't get the private insurance. They will have the public option, and the public option will be low enough to control the prices. So the insurance companies will have to bring their prices down to compete in order to get those customers who would otherwise towards the public option. A lot of people disagree with that because it's more government, touching upon our lives, more government controlled, whatever. But not all of the government's involvement in society or the market is detrimental to the market. We need to understand that first and foremost. We don't want the government to usurp our power, but we don't want them to be completely absent either, because it will be detrimental to our interests. So, Loban is talking about the budget, how Congress has succeeded with not passing a budget for the last 3-4 years. We talk about the budget. They talk about extending deadlines and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, it drops off the face of the earth and we're talking about a different issue. No one has thought about what happened to the budget. I can tell you what happened to the budget. A lot of the funds that are being taken away from social programming because of this socialism scare, programming that is supposed to be in place to help you and I, those lobbyists in Congress are being ignored because, like I said, these other companies, such as the oil companies, these other companies that pollute, they're trying to pass the cost of that onto the American consumers. Soon we're going to be paying taxes on everything. You think we're getting taxed now? They're going to come up with new taxes for us. I see that coming because we are $1 trillion in debt, but we are no closer to being completely to making a dent and making those payments. No one is talking about how the U.S. credit rating has gone down. I think it was like a triple A or A triple plus. Now it's like just a single A. That's really significant. Not saying it's totally the Obama administration's fault, because it's not. But the fact is, while he was in office, there were some things that they could have done that was not done. No one is talking about how President Obama, Mr. Constitutional Scholar, has broken many of the international laws regarding human rights and everything. No one questioned the invasion in Libya the way they should have. No one questioned how he went about the assassination of both Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and Osama bin Laden. Now, don't get me wrong. Please do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that he was not right to go after these individuals. The proper channels was to capture these individuals and probably bring them before the UN for criminal charges against humanity or some shit like that. Or get it such that the UN could give them approval to try them in the United States if they had any connection to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. That would have been the proper way to do it. But he went and he killed them. He also is continuing the American imperialism in the Middle East, just like China is spreading their imperialism to Africa. But we don't want to talk about those issues. We want to pretend that we're politically savvy, that we know what's going on. We want to pretend that we know that the president, what he says, is going to actually come to fruition. We want to trust that, but the reality is it's slapping you in the face when you go to the pump and the gas is outstandingly high. When you go to the grocery line and to get a gallon of milk is $5. Eggs is $4. Bread is $5. You know, like we are living these effects, but we have been bamboozled to believe in the propaganda that things will change. We just need to be patient, this, that, and the other. But all the while, Congress has been working. These 4 years, they've increased the surveillance laws. We got NDAA passed. We got Google. Now, remember when they gave that? It was like a earlier, maybe midsummer, earlier this year. They gave out a disclaimer about being able. They're gonna keep a history of all your searches, Google searches, and you had like a certain amount of time, a window of time to either opt out or to delete your history, because if not, they will keep it for what, 7 years. Don't that sound like a credit report? Why do they need to keep record of all your searches for 7 years? That doesn't sit well with me. So, so the issues over internet, privacy protection, the issues over healthcare, the issues over the economy, money, jobs. These candidates talk a good game, but that's all it is talk. I don't see the work. I see the work being placed in other, directions. Like our military program is robust. We're supposed to be. I remember back in December when he said that he was bringing troops home. Then a couple months later, he was sending them back out there for another mission. Or no, more longer occupation in the areas that they said that they would no longer occupy. He would bring our troops home. We over here doing Project Freedom Democracy in the Middle East, but yet we're not, as Americans, demanding that the democracy begin here on our soil. We're not being able to fully participate in the political process. We also have a civic duty to not just vote every 4 years. A lot of the change that we want to see is up to us to do. I can easily say my generation, maybe even my parents' generation, we lazy as hell. We ain't marched, we ain't organized, we didn't come together. We have social media. We have one of the sites that I love is petition. What is it? That petition site. So I subscribe to that site. So when I get the little emails, I read the causes or whatever, and whatever petition I would love to sign, I will sign it. That's advocacy. That's something you can do every day. You can just sign up to one of these, websites. You would get petitions of issues dealing with whether it's gay rights or being falsely imprisoned or what have you. Sign these petitions online. Use social media to your advantage. We don't have to do the old school archaic way of getting our voice out there. But my problem is neither candidate in most Americas in this country are dealing with the issues that is most important for us. It's just not happening. I'm not satisfied with some of the decisions that Obama made, some of the promises he went back on, some of the like the DREAM Act. The DREAM Act doesn't affect me because I'm an American citizen. But I've known plenty of people going to school and moving around who was affected by the DREAM Act, and he did not sign it. Why? So, and like I said, he's a constitutional scholar, so please don't give him the benefit of the doubt. Hold him accountable. He knows what's supposed to, he knows. He just knows. It's not like he's one of these regular politicians who's just been working in government since the time they interned. He was actually a constitutional law professor, lawyer. Come on, people. Come on. Come on. He knows he's violated a lot of international laws. He knows he's not following the constitutional mandates to the T. But if I were to say these things about Obama, oh shit, they will have me hanging from a tree. They will swear that I was a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that Obama should be, just like they did Clinton for getting his dick sucked. Why aren't we bringing Obama in front of the whoever to discuss the crimes he committed? Now, like I said, I'm not trying to talk bad about this man. I just don't agree with the decisions he have made over the 4 years, and I don't see him making an effort to address us. the only effort I saw was for the health care bill. And that took way too long. I think it took all of his first year and going into the second year, and still we really didn't get anywhere with it. So, but besides that, there were a whole lot of other things going on. And he made some decisions that I just did not agree with. I used to pop off on my little, Facebook status about, some of the things that's going on. Because I try to see, one thing y'all need to understand, you can't catch me slipping. Just because I don't vote doesn't mean I don't know what the fuck is going on. I am very aware of what's going on. And actually, I'm more aware of what's going on than most people, because I can see through the bullshit. I can see through the smoke screen. I don't need an interpreter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying this to say, I don't plan on exercising my civic duty to vote until I feel that change is really on the horizon, that I actually see candidates who are placed in office and actually doing what they say they're going to do. But living in a symbolic matrix, that ain't going to happen. It's just not. If you don't believe we're living in a symbolic matrix, I mean, you can go on, you continue on life as you go. But, I'm living my life in a way where I will still have to function both ways. While in the matrix, because I have to survive, but also outside of the matrix in terms of my ideas and where I stand. One thing the matrix won't have is this. They won't. So I believe in real advocacy. I do believe advocacy does work. 2 states that actually practices democracy the correct way is Vermont and California. And whoop, guess what? I lived in both of those states. So I saw real democracy in action. I've seen how people can draft their own initiatives and go door to door and get signatures, take it to the state legislature, have it heard, for argument, and actually get it written in a bill and have it passed, or actually put on the ballot to be voted for. That's real advocacy. That's what you and I should be doing as American citizens. Not voting for a national president. What about your state local representatives? Those are the motherfuckers that's in Congress that's supposedly supposed to be working with your president, depending on which side of the aisle he sits. So you all are, we don't place much attention on the local, state, elections, the county sheriffs, the judges, city council. We don't. Now, those are the main players that we need to be focused on, because their policies is what's going to affect us. So, for example, Florida, unemployment situation, pretty high, right? Their unemployment benefits, they were supposed to be extended, right? Just like, is an option for all the states who opted in. Florida, because it is a red state, they decided that they did not want to extend the unemployment benefits for their citizens. Even though the national government gave the green light and actually had funds to give to Florida for those, to supplement those people for the extra weeks that they decided to extend it for. But Florida decided that they didn't want him. So tell me, how does voting for a president going to help you get unemployment when your state can veto it? Or I don't want to say veto it, but refuse the funds. They can refuse it. Which one? Who are you feeling the impact most from? The national or the state and local? Know where you live. Know who your state representatives are. Know what they have on their mind and what's on their agenda. Know what they're spending most of their time focusing on. Know it and actually hold them accountable, because I'm sure if they're not working for your interests, you will be able to vote for a better person who may have your interests in mind. I actually feel bad because a lot of people are so disillusioned by this national election, but they're not thinking about real shit. They're just not. They're floating on cloud. I even heard on I love to listen to Ricky Smiley. He even had Obama on the line yesterday. Talking about Michelle Obama with, the president got your back. Let's have, we need to have the president's back. All these little cute slogans and shit. You're not winning me over, bruh. When you have my back, I'll have yours. When you um fix this student loan debt situation for a lot of Americans who decided to go to college, because that's what you were pushing. Every American can go to college, right? But yeah, we got these loans with no student built-in consumer protections. The government is financing 90% of these loans nowadays, but you don't have no consumer protections for it, and we don't have any jobs, right? I mean, let's be real. Sorry, I may offend some people, but that's just my opinion. I'm not voting. You can't make me vote. And if I vote, I'm voting for that white pasty motherfucker. Put his ass in office and see how you like it. Because which one is the issue? Is the issue me exercising my right to vote? Or is the issue who I vote for? Which is it? I've had people say, we had our ancestors fight, get hoes, dogs sicked on, and, die for our right to vote. Sorry to say, but they was fighting the wrong cause. If they were listening to Huey Newton and Malcolm X, Bobby Seale, Marcus Garvey, we would be living in a different society. We wouldn't have to worry about trying to vote to assimilate in a system that was not built for us. I have a particularly sensitivity for black people pressuring me to vote because y'all asses are not being able to, we can't even fully participate in this economy because we don't own nothing. We have no industry. Our wealth, we just don't have it. We have money, like entertainers, rappers, athletes, affluent blacks. We have money, but no wealth. We don't even have an agenda. What the fuck? If there are things that are going on in the black community or going on, in your state, if you live in a densely populated black area and you don't have an agenda, how the fuck will you know who to vote for? What are you voting for? I've even had people say, you should just vote because, it's the right thing to do. You just need to vote. I don't care who you vote for. And I would turn around and ask them, so what is the point of voting then? Just to vote. Voting just to vote. Voting ignorantly is just as bad. Come on. I would not vote ignorantly of anything. My decision to boycott the vote is just as strong as voting for a candidate. It's making a statement. It's my opinion. A lot of people say you won't have an opinion since you don't vote. Oh, yes, the fuck I do. And this is why. This is my opinion. You don't have to like it or agree, but this is it. So you can't pressure people to vote. And if people are unsure or on the fence or undecided, you can't talk shit about them either. Because those individuals I'm talking to, because they know that the system we live in and the shit that they're telling us is not true, but at the same time, they may say, but you know what, but I still feel I still need to vote for something because I need to do my part to make sure that this situation doesn't happen again. I may not agree with both candidates. Both candidates are really not addressing my needs right now, but I just really don't know who to vote for because I just don't. So I say, then don't. Don't feel pressured to vote. If more people boycotted the vote, guess what? I think we will be able to demand better candidates. Our issues probably will be addressed. Some of these candidates will probably steer their campaign around addressing our issues, and then knowing that they need our votes to stay in office, they will do a lot better job of being accountable for their actions while, working in session. I mean, have people thought about that for a chance? You don't have to vote if you don't want to. And don't let people pressure you to vote just because it's the right thing to do. It's not right to vote when you don't feel strongly in your heart that either candidate has your interest at heart. Do not vote. You hold your vote until you're able to either contact your state legislature or do your part locally to get your issues addressed or out there or in their focal point. It's up to us. There is power. Like I said, the democracy can and will work. It's working in 2 states right now, Vermont and California. but it's not working on a national level. So those are my thoughts on why I don't vote. Leave comments, questions. But yeah, I used to believe in the political system a few years ago. I don't anymore. That's life. And yeah, just want to make sure I had some notes on my screen to make sure that was all I wanted to mention. But yeah, that's it. Have a blessed day.